Greetings and welcome. This is the ThaBadbrey Herbal, ancient astrologer of ThaBadbrey Herbal.co.uk, and today I'm going to be speaking to you about the story of FatherTime, the formula to Saturn's motion. So as I said, this is the ThaBadbrey Herbal, ancient astrologer of the ThaBadbrey Herbal.co.uk. So what is the story of FatherTime? Now, before I get onto that, I'm going to explain to you why I'm telling this story in the first place. All right? Now, I have a few individuals who I give one-to-one tuition in terms of ancient astrology. They've asked me to help them to increase their astrological skills, all right? Using the ancient approach that I use, all right? And what usually happens is I start off by looking at their nativity chart and verifying the time of birth. And the way I verify or confirm or rectify the time of birth is by asking specific questions pertaining to pivotal moments in their life. All right. So I'm going to give you some examples. Yeah. For example, if somebody's born in 1985 and their ascendant is Pisces, I will instantly say, okay, so between the ages of 15 and 18, did you move house? Or did you go through some type of upheaval pertaining to your immediate domestic environment? It may have concerned one of the parents as well as your home, and it would have forced you to adapt to the changes, the karmic changes that were taking place within your immediate domestic environment. Yeah. Or, using the same example, if somebody's born in 1985 and their ascendant is Pisces, I'll instantly say between the ages of 22 and 24, did you break up with your partner? Did you go through relationship upheavals? All right. And usually when I ask those types of questions, the person usually confirms and says, yes, between 15 and 18, that's when I actually left home and I had issues taking place with my parents. There were arguments, or one of my parents got ill and then I ended up leaving the house I was living in. Or they'll say, yes, between the ages of 22 and 24, it was when I was 24 years old, I broke up with my girlfriend of 7 years. It's like people usually confirm. And if they confirm by saying all of that happened, but it was 2 years later or 2 years earlier. Yeah. And from them saying that, I can easily rectify their birth time. All right. Another example, if somebody's born in 1981 and their ascendant is Libra, I would instantly say to them, between the ages of 7 and 10 years old, did you move house? Or I'll say between the ages of 15 and 18, did you go through relationship upheavals? Did you break up with someone that you were in a long-term partnership with and you broke up with them, or you stopped working with them between the ages of 15 and 18? All right. Now, what happens is, especially with people that I am with fellow students of astrology who I'm giving personal one-to-one tuition to, they usually say to me, how are you able to look at my nativity chart and within a few seconds, like a cursory glance, you're able to see pivotal events that took place within my life and ask me to verify it? All right. And I usually answer by saying, well, I am looking at the transit of a particular planet. And they say, which planet is that? And I say, I'm looking at the planet Saturn. And then they proceed to ask me, so how are you able to calculate exactly where Saturn was between certain ages, yeah, in the past, or certain years of the past? Mentally, how are you able to mentally calculate that without having to look at any software? Because you looked at the chart and within a few seconds, he asked me the question and it was accurate, all right? And I usually answer by saying, do you really want to know the answer to that question? Because we could be here for hours if I was to go into how it's actually done. Now, there is a definite formula to calculate exactly where Saturn was between at any time in the past or in the future, where he will be, all right? But this formula cannot really be explained within a short space of time, all right? FatherTime. Because of how much is involved. your brain needs to see the pattern. It can't really be explained, all right? So this is how I'm going to explain it. And this is how I usually explain it to fellow students of astrology who I'm giving tuition to, all right? So this is the story of FatherTime. Yeah? The motion of Saturn. Let's start off. So, a long time ago, in a village far, far away, there was a village by the sea, all right? And in this village was a stable. And in this stable lived 38 ram goats, all right? And these 38 ram goats shared the stable with 40 cows. And these 40 cows, one day, these 40 cows gave birth to 42 pairs of twins. And on the same day that these 42 pairs of twins were born, 44 crabs washed up on the shore. Yeah, because this village, as I said, was by the sea. And there was a small beach opening that was situated a few, yards away from the stable, all right? Now, these 44 crabs were so numerous in comparison to the minuscule amount of beach space that they not only took up the whole of the sand area of the beach, they also spread all the way across the hillside that was surrounding the village, yeah? And as a result of surrounding that hillside, these 44 crabs, they formed some type of wall, a crab wall, if you will. But the good thing about this is that this crab wall served as a natural coincidence of a defense against the 46 lions that were lying in wait outside of the village, waiting to come in and invade and devour the 42 pairs of twins. All right. So these lions, it was like a stalemate. They didn't leave, but they didn't invade. They were just waiting for the opportunity to try and come in and invade the village. Yeah, these 46 lions. Yeah. Now, in this village, yeah, also lived 49 daughters, all right? And these 49 daughters were responsible for collecting the wheat, harvesting the wheat, yeah, from the fields and bringing them back to the village and putting them in the stores, yeah, storing them. And these 49 daughters, none of them were married. They all lived in the village, and they were the daughters of the men of the village, all right? But these 49 daughters, they realized that there was some type of issue because they couldn't get to the water. People needed to get to the water by the sea, yeah? And that access to the sea was blocked as a result of the crabs that were taking up all of the space, yeah? So they decided to formulate and devise some type of plan to clear the crabs away from the beach so that they can have access to the water again, yeah? But before they could enact their plan, these 49 daughters, they needed to deliberate with the elders of the village. So they went to a village court, yeah? And they met up with these elders, these 49 daughters. And the hearing took 51 minutes. And within 51 minutes, the elders listened to the 49 daughters' plan of how they plan to clear the crabs away from the beach. And after weighing up the odds equally on both sides, within 51 minutes, the elders approved of their plan. So the plan that these 49 daughters had was to go to the back of the village where the forest was and collect 53 scorpions and bring those 53 scorpions back and throw them onto the beach as a way to scare these crabs back into all right, into the sea. So they did this, all right. That's what they done. Meanwhile, the elders knew that if their plan succeeded, the 49 daughters, the elders knew that if their plan succeeded and they managed to scare the crabs back into the water, that the 46 lions will be able to invade the village and kill the 42 pairs of twins. So the elders devised amongst themselves, a plan amongst themselves, that as soon as these crabs, if it's successful and these crabs go back into the sea, that they will call in reinforcements to take out and kill the 46 lions that were lying in wait. So back to the story, yeah? These 49 daughters, after coming out of the court hearing that took 51 minutes to weigh up the odds, they went and collected 53 scorpions. They took these 53 scorpions to the beach and they threw these 53 scorpions onto the beach. And the crabs were so terrified that they all ran back into the sea. Not only did the crabs that were on the beach run back into the sea, but also the crabs that were by the hillside that were protecting the 42 pairs of twins from the invading lions that were lying in wait. So they all of the crabs jumped back into the sea. Now, as a result of that, the beach was now full of scorpions and the lions were getting ready to invade the village in order to eat the 42 pairs of twins. These 46 lions were getting ready to invade the village. So the 49 daughters thought to themselves, oh my gosh, what are we going to do about this? We didn't think of this plan. Why would the elders approve of this if they knew that these lions were still there and that they would still pose a danger or risk? Yeah. But just as they were thinking that, 56 men on horseback with bows and arrows rode up behind those 46 lions and slew them. They fired these bows and arrows, yeah, and they killed most of the lions, but the lions who survived, they ran off, yeah, to roar another day. They ran off. Not only this, but some of the arrows that these 56 men on horseback were firing missed the lions and went onto the beach and penetrated and killed a large number of the 53 scorpions, all right? And as a result of that, the surviving scorpions decided not to remain on the beach and they left as well. So the problem was solved, all right? It just so happens that the elders called in reinforcements, and the reinforcements were the 56 men on horseback that came in and slew the 46 lions, all right? Now stay with me. I'm still talking about the story of Father Time, all right? Saturn's motion through the heavens, all right? Now, on the same day that this happened, the beach was clear, the lions were gone, the 42 pairs of twins were safe, yeah? The 56 men on horseback retreated back to wherever they came from. On the same day that this happened, yeah, all of a sudden there was an almighty sound coming from the stable. Then the stable doors burst open, yeah, and 59 goats ran out of the stable and ran towards the sea. They all ran towards the sea and jumped into it. However, even though they ran and jumped into the sea, they couldn't stay in the sea for long, because in the shallow part of the shore, where the water was, the crabs were still underneath the water. So every time the goats, yeah, every time the 59 goats would run into the sea, the 44 crabs would scare them back onto the shore. So as a result, the goats always seemed like they were half in the water and half out. Half of them were on the beach and half of them were in the water, splashing around, all right? Now, as a result of that, it became a problem because it was hard to get the goats to go back into the stable, these 59 goats. So the 49 daughters decided to call their fathers, yeah? And there were 62 men, yeah, who were the fathers of the 49 daughters. And these 62 men, they ran over to the water with their buckets, all right? These 62 men. And they started dipping their buckets into the water as a way to somehow try to harvest the crabs so they can take them back to the village and eat them, or move them to another area of the ocean, i.e. put them into an area far away from the beach, all right? And that was failing. They kept on trying to do it, these 62 men, these fathers of the 49 daughters, they kept on trying to do it and it wasn't working. So they decided that they're going to try and drain all of that part of the beach so that the goats wouldn't have any incentive to be in the water anymore. So they carried on trying to drain it. And in the process of doing that, yeah, the goats started to lose interest, these 59 goats, and they went back into the stable. So these 62 men, the 62 fathers of the 49 daughters, they decided to take their buckets of water back to their living quarters. And when they got back to their living quarters, they realized that they had inadvertently captured 64 fish collectively. They had managed to get 64 fish from that part of the shallow water near the beach. No crabs, only fish, 64 of them. And they brought them back to the village and they had food, you know, for a prolonged period of time. All right. Now, this is a repeating cycle that takes place. That's the story of FatherTime. All right. And it repeated again the next year, the following year. However, instead, there were 67 ram goats that occupied the stable. All right. And these 67 ram goats shared the stable with 69 cows. These 67 ram goats shared the stable with 69 cows. And these 69 cows gave birth to 71 pairs of twins. And on the same day that these 71 pairs of twins were born, "73 crabs washed up on the shore and created a crab wall. And this crab wall protected the village from the 75 lions that were trying to invade." Now, if you're listening with astrological ears, you'll hear what I am putting across in this story, all right? This is the story of FatherTime and the formula to Saturn's motion, all right? So those of you who are determined to decipher the story, you will come to a realization of how you can quickly calculate mentally exactly where Saturn was at specific periods of time in history or in the future. All right. This is an ancient way of teaching. So, this is the ThaBadbrey Herbalist SR, ancient astrologer of ThaBadbreyHerbal.co.uk. Stay tuned. I will be back. I will be back. Dendra.